The Backrooms movie, directed by Kane Parsons, we saw it last weekend and it was damn good. I'm sitting between like a 7 and a 9, and I don't really know where this movie stands for me as far as a rating goes. I say that because this film is very slow, and I don't know how many times I'm gonna want to rewatch it, but I keep coming back to the soundtrack. That's what I'm listening to right now. I keep replaying scenes in my head and thinking about the what ifs for like the sequels, for additional stories, for expanding it even more. And I say that it was slow not as a punch or a negative, I say it as an observation. It simply is a bit slower of a film, but I just enjoyed it a lot. In this film, we follow a character named Clark who was recently divorced, separated from his wife. He owns a furniture store and he is basically just trying to get money. He's trying to continue living. He's fighting the idea that he is alone and that he is lonely, because even though he's in denial about it, he is alone. And I feel like this is where the writing actually shines through in a way that we're not getting a lot from movies coming out. When you think about horror movies, you think about fear, you think of what is scary, you think of like the monster, the kills, that sort of thing. But the best horror films tackle the human element of fear. Not I'm afraid of this thing coming to me, but what is going on inside of me. And a lot of horror movies, you probably hear it from a lot of people, they talk about trauma. A lot of horror movies just take trauma and use it now as a trope. My favorite rendition of using trauma in horror is Hereditary. That's like one of my all-time favorite movies, if not my all-time favorite movie. It switches between that and Rosemary's Baby. But this film feels extremely fresh with the type of horror. Both the monster stuff, the things going on around the characters, and the internal struggles. You want to talk about real life, what's scary? I'll tell you. I mean, this movie tells you it's being alone, like truly alone, not having someone who cares about you, not there for you when you need someone, not having enough money to support yourself and to continue doing whatever it is that you want to do. And it's not even that he wants to be a furniture salesman. That is what he's doing to stay alive. And I feel like so many people nowadays are just trying to work and work as much as possible to simply get by, to simply get as much as they can to sustain themselves. A lot of people don't have enough left over to save, to build something greater for themselves. And that's an element of fear in a lot of people's lives that I feel like movies, horror movies specifically, aren't tackling. They're not unraveling that idea. And I feel like movies nowadays simply say or show like a 30-second clip at the start of the movie to say, hey, this person is messed up. This person has been traumatized. This person's gone through whatever that's going to allow them to face the monster, to overcome their fear, or to get to the end goal of the film. But there's not that many movies that tackle loneliness. It's not really talked about that much because loneliness is something that just kind of comes and goes in an ebb and flow state. A lot of people will show up to work and they have people they talk to there, then they go home and they're alone. They'll watch YouTube, they'll watch movies, they'll play video games. Every now and then you might call your family member, but there is some sort of element that everyone shares where loneliness is a major fear factor in our lives. So Clark has this furniture store and he's trying things out. He's trying to see what he can do to make his sales better, and he has trash furniture. He knows it, and people that have bought from him or know about him know it as well. He's essentially a fraud in his own design system that he created. I'm a believer that we all live inside a metaphorical box. And this box is the same size for everyone. And I say this because it is a malleable object that we live within. You can either make bad decisions, you can consciously choose the bad path. I am a believer that we live inside of a box. And this box is metaphorical in nature. But what I mean is, you're inside of this box, and if you make a bad decision, it makes it smaller. You make another bad decision, makes you smaller, smaller and smaller, until you have a very, very limited space to move around it. You have very limited options in what you can do in life. You have limited options with what you can do with what you have. You're not gonna be able to save. You're not gonna be able to buy that cool jet ski or whatever the hell you wanna spend your money on. And the more bad choices you make, the smaller that box gets and the harder it is to expand that box again. But if you make the hard choices, the right choices for your life, for your being, that box slowly gets bigger and bigger. Your opportunities expand, the amount of money that you have, the amount of family that you have, the amount of people. And I'm not saying it's all about money and people, but that's what a lot of people identify with. That's what people identify success being. So Clark has obviously made a lot of choices that have just boxed him into this furniture store, and he is stuck there. He is sleeping there. He is living there. It's his own prison. And what I think is poetic about it is that Clark is an architect by nature. I don't know if he went to school for it. He probably did, but he wants to do architecture. And he has essentially designed this prison for himself to be stuck in. And this messes with him like psychologically, mentally, physically. Like he is just kind of a broken person trying to keep it together. So already at the beginning of the film, you have someone who is facing these fears, facing these real world problems that a lot of our generation and younger generations are stepping into. Your purpose is not being fulfilled. You do not have enough money to do what it is you want to do. You are lonely. You don't have people that you can lean on. You don't have somebody that can just give you a hug and tell you it's going to be okay. And that means a lot to someone who's going through stuff. Clark gets the electrician to come out and he is saying like, hey, these lights are flickering. He's not really saying that he's staying there overnight, but these lights are flickering at weird times. Like, what is happening? And he's doing this because he's trying to save as much money as possible. So Clark gets the electrician to come out, and this electrician sees that the breaker box has these 2 breakers that are like weirdly placed at the bottom of it. They don't know what it goes to. They don't know like who put it in. They don't know anything about that. They flick it on and off, nothing happens. This scene right here is such a great introduction to the weird absurdity that the Backrooms offers. It just shows that things are out of place and that they are not as they're supposed to be. A bit further on into the film, we have Clark waking up to the lights flickering on and off, and they do this really weird thing where they all turn on, turn off one by one, and they're just flickering really weird. Clark goes down into his like downstairs sale floor, and he ends up stumbling into the back rooms where the rest of the film takes place, where the rest of the film unfolds. I have a few gripes with this film, and it's like really not that bad at all. The first thing is the writing at the therapy scene at the very beginning of the film. It feels like it's written by someone who has loneliness fresh on their mind, where they have actually thought about it. And this could either be like a script issue or just the idea stemming from Kane Parsons, because he's 20 years old. He is fresh from the COVID era. He's fresh from loneliness and that whole idea that we will never have enough resources, we'll never have enough money, we'll never have enough like anything. And it works so well in this film, but it feels a bit too like upfront or forced in the writing just for like a few lines. And this movie is so tight and paced in such a really good way. This leads me into the next issue that I have, but it is just like, I don't even care. Like it gets the theme across in a way where there's no icing, and it's kind of admirable. So that's my first thing. The second thing is that when we have the therapist going into the back rooms, I felt like it could have been condensed just slightly. We could have had like a 30-second montage of her like going over the same things that Clark went through. Whatever, like there's some things that we could do, but I do enjoy the fact that it is similar enough, but then it kind of veers off into her own version, her own exploration, her own story inside of this back room. So if that was intentional, it's still well designed as far as script writing goes. That's just my personal preference. And then my third thing is at the very end of the film, we could have had such a good eye-opening moment or gut punch ending where the therapist keeps asking, where is she? Where am I? It is alluding to the fact that she is still in the back rooms. And as an audience member, we know. Right? We know from the very start of this scene where she's in the interrogation room. And I don't know how you'd go about tweaking it exactly, because that scene, the whole sequence all the way to the very end, like the last shot of the film, is so well done. But it would have been like a 10 out of 10 ending if we didn't quite know if she was in the back rooms or not. Maybe they furnished the place in a way that is like not even comparable to the back rooms, right? But she keeps asking where she is, and this, I feel like, is supposed to make us question, is she here in the back rooms? Is she here in reality? Like, where is she? But nah, we knew she was in the back rooms from the start of that scene. But if we didn't know, and if we truly questioned, like she was questioning, the last shot is her in the memory form, the real messed up version with like the double eyes, double nose, like the 2 hands on top of each other. And that imagery is so unsettling and so creepy in a chill sort of way. But that would have just had like such a dread to it. And the film overall had a feeling of dread. It had a feeling of hopelessness. And I love that. That's my favorite thing about this film, is just how it makes you feel. I don't think life is meaningless or hopeless. I feel like there is an answer to it all, and that is God. But when you have these horror films and when you're trying to evoke certain emotions or certain ways that the audience is gonna feel and talk about once they leave that theater, once they're out in the lobby, what they're gonna say. For a horror film, if you can get this idea of dread and hopelessness all the way to the ending and really just have it boom, like announce itself, you've done a great job. And I love this type of horror specifically because, well, it hasn't been done before, not like this, but it feels very Lovecraftian in nature. It feels very like we don't understand what it is we're up against, and we never will, but it's there and we have to face it and we have to figure it out as best as possible. But in the end, it's gonna fuck us up. I love that in horror movies. I love that in movies in general, in stories, when you have this force that is so untamable, ever expanding. When that's your monster, you can't put it in a box. Like, you are up against something that is beyond this world. You're up against something that is beyond our understanding. And that's what fascinates me most. Imagine if you were to take like some god level being or some god level monster like Pennywise, stick them in the back rooms, right? They're not able to get out, say they never do get out, and they keep going to different rooms, they keep doing different actions that creates more memories for this backrooms entity. And then through those memories, we get new versions of this god level being that spawn. I mean, that's a cool idea, right? And what happens if you just take like one step inside of backrooms and then get out? I know technically you're not supposed to be able to get in and out, but they made it for $10 million. They get to do what they want. I mean, unless someone else creates a backroom movies for $11 million, like, Kane Parsons gets to decide. There's a lot of cool brain experiments you can do with this story, with this like being. I don't even know what it is. What if the Backrooms is inside of the mind of some ancient being? It's just fun to talk about. It's just fun to think about. And there lies the reason why I can't decide whether this movie's a 7 or a 9. I mean, ultimately I'll give it an 8 right now, but if I like this movie more times as I keep watching it, this could be easily a 9 or 10 for me. I think it's amazing that they gave the creative freedom and the choices that they did to Kane Parsons to create this film. He was like 19 years old when he filmed this movie. I think he's like 20 now. And he made the music. The music, basically co-made it with someone else, but I'm imagining that he came up with the ideas and was like, hey, can you fine tune this? And the sounds in it, the melodies, the reverb, the endlessness, expanse of it, how it sounds, like it adds so much depth to this film. I love this movie. I'm definitely going to be talking more about like my thoughts on it, probably do like a full in-depth analysis on it. But as of right now, we'll say it's an 8 out of 10.